Everybody says that AI kills the human touch, and I just built a system that does the exact opposite of that. This voice agent lets homeowners literally speak their dream home into existence. It literally delivers them a full schedule, fit with predecessors, successors, and dependencies, as well as photorealistic images of their dream home, exterior, interior, with all of the rooms that they would like to see. Now, in this video, you're going to see exactly how the system works through a live demo. Then I'm going to break it down piece by piece and tell you exactly how I built it with all the secret methods that I discovered. And then finally, you're going to learn exactly how to replicate this same system into your own business within days. My name is Aidan, and I am your go-to AI engineer for all things construction. I run a business that creates tailored AI solutions for construction businesses just like yours. My job is to make your business make more money and make your brain hurt less using this new technology. So let's get started. Okay, so as all of my systems usually go, there are three components, which is the V0 or some type of front end that you build. So in this case, I built it on V0 and essentially cloned a custom home builder website. You'll see down over here is the actual widget that I use from 11 Labs. So that takes us to then 11 Labs, which is the second component. This is what I use to create my voice agents with and actually create the embedded widgets that I can put on any website I want that will always route to this voice agent when I'm talking to. And then finally, the actual where the magic happens, the actual N8N flow. This one looks really fancy dancy, but we'll break it down and we'll understand every single component. So let's just go ahead and dive right into this little live demo.
Thanks for reaching MBA Builders. I am going to walk you through a set of questions that will help me get the basics and your project vision. Simply answer the questions to the best of your ability and I will take care of the rest.
All right, that sounds good.
Great. To start, what is your first and last name?
They call me Aidan Finnegan.
Nice to meet you, Aidan. What's the best email to send your plan to?
aidanfinnegan025@gmail.com, and that's AIDANFINNEGAN025.
Thanks, Aidan. And what's the best phone number to reach you?
360-899-8413.
Thank you. Do you prefer updates by text, email, or phone call?
You can spam me with both. Text and email, please.
Understood. We'll use both text and email for updates. Now, regarding your project, are you planning a new custom home, a major remodel, an addition, or something smaller like a special project?
I've been dreaming up a new custom home.
A new custom home, that's exciting. What's the address or area where this would be?
It would be on the west side of Washington, right on Lake Goodwin. It'd be 300 Northwest 48th Street.
Thank you. And do you already own the property or are you still looking?
I own it.
That's great, you already own the property. Do you already have drawings or design plans for your new home?
I currently do not have any drawings or design plans. Really just dreaming.
No problem at all, we can certainly help with that. We'll just note that you still need design plans. About how many square feet do you think the home will be?
I want it to be around 5,500 square feet, but I'm not really sure if that makes a lot of sense. I've never really built my own home before.
No worries at all. 5,500 square feet is a good estimate to start with. How many floors are you imagining for your new home?
3 floors and a basement.
3 floors and a basement, got it. How many bedrooms are you thinking of having?
4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms.
4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. Are there any specific spaces that matter to you? For example, a home office, a big kitchen, outdoor space, a gym, or anything else?
Yeah, I've been dreaming about having a library inside the house, a 2-story library. I wanted to have a balcony at that second floor, so it's not really a full floor, but you can walk around the perimeter of it and look down and see that first floor. And I really want those bookshelves to kind of go from the floor to the ceiling.
A 2-story library with a balcony and floor-to-ceiling bookshelves sounds like a wonderful feature. How would you describe the look you're going for? Classic, farmhouse, modern, or something else?
Yeah, I'm going for kind of a Gilded Age Victorian style estate. Um, yeah, I don't know. A man can dream.
A Gilded Age Victorian style, that's a very distinct and elegant vision. When you picture the inside, do you imagine warm and cozy, bright and airy, or more clean and modern?
Definitely not. I mean, it's going to be clean, not modern. I want it to be very open areas, tiled floor. I would like it to kind of have, more decor that is resemblance of an older time. Big open windows and such. A lot of, the older, that kind of Victorian style.
It sounds like you're envisioning a bright and airy interior with an open feel featuring classic Victorian decor and large windows.
Yes,
Is
I
the
am.
property Great. Is the property mostly flat or on a slope?
It's mostly flat.
And is it easy to get to, like normal driveway access?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to get to. Would that affect the price a lot?
Easy access is always helpful for a project. We'll take note of that. Do you know if the property has city water and sewer or something like well and septic?
It does have city water.
Okay, city water. Do you know about the sewer? Is it city sewer or septic?
Septic.
Got it. City water and septic. Do you have a budget range you're aiming to stay within for this project?
It would be nice if I didn't go over $3 million. Grandmama just died and left a lot of money.
Thank you for sharing that. A budget of $3 million gives us a clear understanding. When would you ideally like to start the project?
Yeah, in about 6 months. That should give me enough time to grieve for Grandmama and get ready for a new project. So, yeah, I'm thinking around June.
I understand June sounds like a good target to begin. Do you have a move-in or completion date you're hoping for?
Not one in mind, no.
No specific move-in date, that's perfectly fine. Is it mainly you making decisions for this project, or are there others involved too?
Just me, living alone in this house.
Understood, you'll be the main decision maker for this project. Would you like us to generate a small set of example inspiration images so you can see style options?
Yes.
It's totally
That sounds like awesome.
great. To help us pull inspiration images, are there any materials or features you love? Like stone, wood, big windows, bright kitchens, or anything else that comes to mind?
I really like that kind of red brick with white accents, and yeah, just again that old kind of Gilded Age style, Victorian age style.
Red brick with white accents and a Gilded Age Victorian style. Got it. Let me repeat what I have so far to make sure I've captured everything correctly.
All
You're
right.
planning a new custom home at 300 Northwest 48th Street on Lake Goodwin, Washington. You own the property and are looking for a home around 5,500 square feet with 3 floors and a basement, 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. A key feature will be a 2-story library with a balcony and floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. You're aiming for a Gilded Age Victorian style with a bright and airy interior, open areas, tiled floors and large windows. The property is mostly flat with easy access, has city water and septic. Your budget is around $3 million and you'd like to start in June. You're the main decision maker and you'd like us to generate inspiration images with red brick and white accents, focusing on that Gilded Age Victorian style. Does that sound right?
Sounds beautiful.
Great. We'll create your draft schedule and inspiration board and send it to you soon. If you'd like to speak with a project manager after that, we'll schedule a call. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you so much. All right, so that should have now kicked off this workflow, and we'll see if it did. Yep. All right, so that agent successfully called this N8N backflow or this N8N workflow. That's going to run for about 2 minutes. So while that's running, let's go ahead and take a look at this agent that I built. So when I build these voice agents, they usually are pretty straightforward because I usually build them for information capture and then just give them one tool to call out to the backend, N8N. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So you can write your first message in here, which is what the person is going to say, or the agent is going to say. And I wish I could make this bigger. It's very, very small right now. But over here I have my prompt, and it has all the different questions I'm asking in order. And those questions map to, let's get this out of the way. They map to this tool. I got a lot of them in here, so let's find the right one. Deliver home details. So deliver home details, it sends a post to our end-to-end backend webhook. And essentially what this is doing is it's telling the agent, okay, out of all the questions you just asked, make sure you jot down those details in this tool so you can send that data over to our backend. And that's what's happening here. A couple of things to, if you are building these types of systems, a quick little advice for you is you want to always have your headers, do 2 of them, and that needs to be content type, this exact format, application/JSON, and then you need to go to, and make sure they're both value, and then you go to accept with a capital A, application JSON/JSON. And then after that, when you're actually setting up what the agent should deliver, what information it needs to send over, you want to put that in your body parameters, and the description essentially tells the agent what is this body containing. And I just say populate the body with the answers from your conversation with the customer. Very simple. And then make sure it's a string type, because usually you're capturing spoken language or spoken words, so that's represented in string. And identify them. So essentially these identifiers map directly to the questions themselves, and the agent's able to infer that and find that out. So identifier special features, you want to set it to required. An LLM prompt. So this means that the agent is going to be the one filling in the body, which is really important. So the description, I just paste in the exact question it is, so it's really hard for it to ever make a mistake. And you do that for all of the different questions, and then you add that tool. You go back to your agents after you've made that custom tool. It needs to be a custom webhook tool, and then you just assign it down here, right here to custom tool. So you go to add tool, excuse my big head, add webhook tool, or you would pick it if you already made it up there. So that's really all the fancy dancy stuff that's happening in the 11 labs. I think by now we should be, oh, nope, still going. So it will be finishing up soon. Oh, no, it did finish, 1:40. So let's actually go to our email, and boom, just like that, it pops up. So let's see what we have. Your home is ready. It's really ready already. Hey, Aidan, thank you for sharing your vision. We've listened to your ideas, preferences, and the unique space you're imagining, and we've translated that into preliminary schedule and image library for your home build. So what you'll find is a visual portfolio reflecting the style, direction of your future home, a working Google Sheet outlining a line item schedule that your project could possibly follow. Now, it's important I said that because it's very unrealistic that, this is going to be a schedule that you present, because there are legal implications to that. So if anything, it's really just to answer that question that a customer would have. How long would it take? What does an actual construction look like? What does it look like to build a house? So we'll actually demo that in a second. But you can see here, it says how we work, so you can personalize it to your business to give that customer a feel, instant value up front, kind of demystify some of those questions they might have. The schedule is not a quote or legally binding. It's a starting point. The goal is to show you how your build might flow, so we can align on expectations, logistics, and details before moving into a full planning and quotation. So the next step, let's review together a link to a schedule calendar, which I think it's my calendar. But yeah, you can link them to your website, to your calendar, and then say thank you for trusting. Anyway, so here is this very ostentatious house that it dreamed up for me right on the lake. That kind of old style. Oh, that's a nice kitchen. Love that color. Beautiful living room. Here's a really nice living room. A nice bathroom. Beautiful entranceway. Another dining room. And then here is that library that I talked about, which I would love to have that built in a heartbeat. So if you're a custom home builder watching, you think we could do a little trade? You could build me just this library, and I'll build you just this system, and we can call it even. Okay, so after that, we then go to the actual schedule, and it's super, super simple, as you'll see. We'll have the group, the construction group it's in, the task name, the duration of that task, start date, finish date, predecessors, and successors for those tasks. So this one, we go through all of the rough MEP, the site work, all of procurement. We go into the site work and foundation. We go into framing, dry, rough-in, all through it. This one should be around 190. Yeah, this one's 195 line items. So It's just something they can kind of look through, get them excited, and really remember the point of this is really just to get them on that next call with you guys so you can have more information upfront about whether you would want to work with this customer. And maybe they could even use some of these photos to help kind of your brand, to help their brand direction and inspiration when you go forward with that process. What's really cool about this is it's working 24/7. You don't have to touch it. It's really just kind of instant customer value before you ever even get to talk to them. So yeah, that is the live demo. So let's go ahead and break down the N8N system. Okay, so there is really two main parts to the system that are happening. There is the, right over here, the schedule or the photo creation, my apologies. The photo creation, this is what actually takes the customer's input and turns them into different photo prompts. And I'm using Google Gemini Nano Banana to create these images, just because Nano Banana is really good with photorealistic images. And I'm having this design agent. As you'll see, I'm just feeding in the special details and the whole conversation transcript. And its prompt is, one, I'm going for consistency within the photos, so I want to make sure that all of the different rooms and photos look like they are in the same exact house. And I have the output format, so it's always going to be 8 different images, and I basically just have template prompts for it to populate in, but with the real details that are coming in. And then you'll see over here, here are some of the photo prompts. We have a prompt and then an explanation. And what I'm doing there is I'm using the split out. So I purposely had this guy output it as an array, because with the split out node, you can turn those into individual items. And that's important because we want this Google Gemini Nano Banana to run 8 different times for each message. So we have it 8 different times. It's going to execute 8 times. And that's really what takes the bulk majority of this workflow. But it can fire concurrently. So it happens decently quick, just in about 2 minutes. And then we re-aggregate them because we want to put them all back in the same exact list. And now it's waiting for the rest of the system to actually execute. And let's go through and actually walk through what the rest of the system is doing. So it's a lot going on here. And a reason why it's so complex is because the bulk of this system, which I call the schedule personalizer, actually comes from one of our more flagship products. And this version of the system has been dumbed down for the purposes of this build. It's not exactly, there's a couple things that I tweaked, and mainly it's the input data into it. So the first thing that's happening here is we need to actually choose which type of home is being built. And for this demo and these purposes, it's usually always going to be a custom home because that's what this system is built for. But on our other system that we're building, which allows contractors to speak to a voice agent and get a highly personalized and based in reality schedule template that they can show to clients to basically prove to them that they are competent and you have enough time to win a bid. We have 3 different options here. So either an RC spec house, for all of you who might not be in the construction space, a spec house is more of a cookie cutter house where a real estate developer will go in and say, I need 50 different or maybe 10 different iterations of one house, and we're going to build 50 or 100 of them in this one neighborhood. So that's a spec house. A custom home is a custom home. And then we have a high-end custom home, which is more luxury. And the reason why we split up custom home and high-end custom home is because higher-end custom homes typically have more difficult procurement. There's going to be weird imported materials that you're going to use. So it's a little bit more line items on the schedule. So speaking of that, I'll actually go and show you what's in these 3 nodes. I'm using the data tables node in N8N, which is essentially an ingrained Google Sheet, but within N8N. It's very it's very limited right now. You can see it's beta. But so what's happening here is these are the template schedules, and I want you to take notice of the typical duration, the short, and the long duration for each of these tasks. So as you'll see here, all of these are different tasks that have to happen in order to put a home together. Pretty simple. And depending on what task it is, like let's see here, form and rebar walls, has a typical duration of around 10 days, but a shorter duration would be 3 and a longer one would be 15. So when I set out to build this system, the main question I was answering was, based on a contractor speaking to a voice AI agent, what is the best day to choose between that range of long and short durations that will actually reflect the reality of that project. So what I ended up doing was I ended up creating an equation essentially that goes and based on different AI agent analysis, I don't know if that's a real word, of the transcript of that contractor conversation with the AI agent, it assigns different what I call weights or what is called weights, and it will output, you'll see over here, these different signal weights. So this one, because the access was really clear and easy to get to, it outputted 0. So any different task that has, that's timeline or duration is affected by a constrained site access, it's going to have this equation is going to have very limited effect on that duration. So all of those access type duration tasks are going to be closer to the short duration. And then over here we have the crew signal. So depending on the size of the crew, this one's also 0 right now because I've remolded this system for just plugging directly into a customer conversation with it. So I don't have any data. I don't have this connected to a real contractor's crew data. So it's always just going to output 0 right now. But the size signal should have something. So you'll see here it's 0.411. And this is because we said 5,500 square feet. So this means any task that is going to be affected by the size square footage of the house, which is a lot of them, it's going to be more in this kind of 41% range of between the short and long duration. And then finally I had the complexity, which is essentially it's a different range of things, whether there's going to be a weird ADU, if there's weird procurement. Procurement is, for those of you who don't know, it's the act of going to obtain materials that you need to build. So if I'm going to procure my lumber for the build, I'm going to procure my cupboards, my concrete. It's the act of putting the order in on that and making sure and figuring out how it's actually going to get to that job site. So super kind of boring stuff. Maybe it's a little interesting, but it outputs all of these what I call signals. And because it now has the 190 line item tasks pulled from these data tables, plus these signals, we can actually go and compute the equation. So over here in this code node, you'll see over here, it's called the duration calculation. What it's doing is for every single line item task, it's putting in all of those different variables, the different signals, and that task itself. And it's doing an instant calculation for exactly what day on that range it needs to be, and it re-outputs all of those tasks in a really long line. Here are the weights it used, as you can see. But anyway, it goes out and it outputs all of those those tasks again. But what it's doing is it's taking the duration calculation, you'll see here. So now this one, it calculated between 8 days for the procuring panels. So after all that funny business happens, now what we need to do, because this part of the system, we're actually going to go and create the copy of the schedule for the customer. I'm using a Google Drive node that's copy file. So it's just copying a blank template of that Google Sheet. And then while that's concurrently happening, it's also doing the duration calculations. We have to merge those back together and split out this entire list so it can be more line items, because we need to now go and repopulate one by one all of those new tasks, those newly calculated tasks, into this new template for the customer. And that's what's happening here. So now we are back where we started, and now we're ready to deliver the email. So we had the first input, which is the photos, and now we have the second input, my apologies. And now the first input, which is going to be the actual Google schedule, the Google Sheet. It's been a long day. So we merge that, and then we have to download the file within N8N because we need to attach that to the email. So you'll see here, if we open this up, I'm making sure I'm pulling the ID name from over let's go to schema. We don't need it from there. I think I was actually running this in a demo, so that's why it's not actually this normal file. But essentially, this is going to be read directly from this ID in the copy file, and that tells it to actually define. It says undefined, but when you actually run it, it does accurately pull it. It actually pulls that copied schedule, and then now we have every single data point that we need. So data is one image. These are all different images. So it's 8 different images. It says 7 there because it just starts with the first one with no number. And then we have the actual custom home schedule. So all of these now get attached in our Gmail node that will send it out to my email. Fancy dancy. And this is a template. So when you open up this email node, you want to make sure that you click on the options and click add attachment. I'm sure there's something else you probably want to include, which I think I have here. It's just add attachment, which we don't need to. And then all you need to do to make sure those attachments actually get filled in is put the name of that binary file, or the file itself, doesn't have to be binary, right over here. So now we know that it's going to be attached with data 2, which is that one image. And then also you'll see I have it, the custom home schedule also will get attached. And then finally after that, it sends to the email, and that's how we got it over into our inbox. Bam! Just like that. So I'm also going to attach a link to a Google Doc or some type of document that outlines all the different accounts you're going to need to set up to do this, which is just going to be V0, free to use to create these front ends or websites, then 11 Labs for your voice agents, and then N8N for the actual orchestration of it. And I'll link all the resources and the files in it there for you to build. That's going to wrap it up. I hope this video was really cool and kind of opened some doors or shed some light into your head about what's possible with AI in these types of systems. If you're a construction business owner and you are looking to implement or figure out how AI can solve some of your most pressing problems, you can go ahead and reach out at the email that's in the description to get in contact with Opulence or me. If you want to learn more about building AI, you can go to my school community, which I have also linked in the community, where you can get access to me one-on-one and kind of learn all the different courses I have there and resources that I use for building with AI. So thank you everybody so much for watching, and have a good one.